this comment, and I thought this was a really interesting one. It's a little long. I'll try to skip some of the parts. Dress box or SLB, slide lid box, aka cabinet box. Again, this is from, I didn't put the name down. It's from one of my emails. I'm sorry. We talked previously about cigar storage about a month ago. I went ahead and bought a new Air 281. He's making a Winador. I'm gonna do that, I promise. It's just that I'm fucking broke right now. And I have my cigars are more important. But if I don't get that soon, my cigars will all be fucking dead. I have my Winador shelf seasoning now with a couple of days left. I'll let you know how everything works, blah, blah, blah. Okay. On your Partagas Shorts video, you mentioned that you prefer SLB cabinets over dress boxes. I think you said that you felt that cigars were better. I didn't think too much of it, but I noticed that the ribbon that holds the bundles together in cabinets say cabinet selection. And it made me think about your comments. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it seems that with the word selection, maybe there's something a little different about them. So I just thought I would write and see if you knew anything definitive. I've read up on a couple of forums that have varying opinions. Now, I slob. We are down to 1 inch point, and I slobbered so much on this thing that I'm afraid it's going to be a nightmare to keep lit. But let me tell you that it hasn't lost flavor at all. The twang is not as twangy, but there's plenty of salt. It's still there. I'm getting a lot of pepper now, but not just pepper. Pepper, all the salt. I'm still getting this nuttiness and these hints of fruit, and it's just really unbelievable. Floral aroma, you know, the flavor is powerful, but not so powerful you can't keep recognizing the aroma as you're smoking it. Fucking masterful. Masterful. These are, man, I gotta hang, I don't know if I can not smoke them all. Okay, I'm gonna give you the rundown. First of all, when I like cabinet boxes, it has more to do with aging than anything else. I'll explain that in a minute, and we're gonna talk about that. Within the next 2 weeks, the aging episode will be coming up. So finally, we're gonna get into that, as well as a Habanos news episode, tell you all about the current and upcoming releases, all sorts of great shit. But we'll get into that. I meant mostly really about when you age the cigars. Before I say that though, I'll say this. Be careful of what you read on forums. You'll have all sorts of people saying, yes, cabinet selection means they're crafted by better rollers, or these people really, they throw out so much fucking guesswork without doing an ounce of research. Sometimes it's pathetic. You have, and we're going to talk about this, you have people on these forums actually thinking that they read about breathing cigars. One of the things you can do early in the aging process to speed up the sick period and get rid of the ammonia. You have people thinking, and people agreeing with them, that they're going to hook up a device to pump oxygen into their new air, like the thing you just bought, to give the cigars tons of oxygen and keep them breathing, which is exactly what you don't want to do when you're aging cigars long term. We'll talk about that in the aging episode, but that's just one example of how people, they're just insane. They don't know what and then you have people agreeing with them, telling them, oh, that sounds like a good idea. That's a fucking terrible idea. The only thing that'll do is, yeah, it'll help you get rid of the ammonia faster, but after that, your cigars are going to age. They're going to have nothing to age with. All the fucking tannins, all the chemicals breaking down, all the oils are going to dry out, everything's going to be gone, all the chemicals that they need to keep processing and creating new flavors and everything I'm going to describe in the aging episode, you're going to ruin all of that. Don't hook up a fucking oxygen tank. What is it, a 90-year-old man in a wheelchair? Your cigars don't need an oxygen tank. Your fucking brain needs an oxygen tank. Holy shit. Now, where was I? Okay, cabinet selection. Here's the deal. Dr. Joe knows his history, right? We do all this brand history shit, right? Well, here's the deal with cabinet selection. Back in the day, we're talking pre-1900s, let's just say, you know, for a long, pre-1900s up to 1900, all the way through, back in the day, Cuban cigars weren't what they are today, all right? Cuba was where you go to get cigars. There are no fucking Dominican cigars, and being as it's such a massive fucking trade and their bread and butter, they treated it very seriously. You could order from Cuba, in the brand of your favorite choice, a cabinet, not a cabinet box, a cabinet, an armoire of 500, 1,000, 10,000 fucking cigars. Okay, you got to remember, back then, Partagas alone had over 100 Vitolas, or somewhere around that, before they were up to 100 before the revolution happened. Romeo and Juliet made 1,000 plus personalized bands for their customers. They were into doing things that people, whatever they wanted, however you wanted it. So they would make cabinets for rich people who wanted a cat of, say, Partagas or H. Upmann or Monte Cristo, whatever, and ship them overseas, and you would end up like, for instance, Kennedy probably, you know, maybe he ordered a cabinet of H. Upmann at some point. You know, you have a big, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It looks like a giant fucking cabinet, and it's full of fucking cigars. Now, those cigars, of course, are going to be the best they can possibly make for a customer who orders that much money back in those days worth of cigars, you know. So it became known that, you know, cabinet cigars, the phrase cabinet cigars, are of better quality. It's a cabinet selection. Referring to a fine cigar, someone would say it's cabinet selection. It's a very, very good cigar. Now, here's where the boxes come in. In the 1920s or somewhere around there, those giant cabinets started shipping with, instead of the cigars all just packed into them and shipped overseas, the cigars were packed into square boxes with sliding lids, just like you see today, only made of real fucking Spanish cedar, and all put into the cabinet and then shipped like that. Most likely, I would say, to fucking protect the cigars from getting damaged. You know, these people spend a lot of money. They're going to be very picky, plus the cigars are of the best quality. You don't need them getting damaged, whatever. So now they ship in boxes. These cabinet boxes would take 50 cigars, 100 cigars, a whole fucking wheel, depending on how many cigars were in the cabinet. So it's basically a misnomer. People started attaching the phrase cabinet to SLBs, calling them cabinet boxes, because that's what came in these huge cabinets. On top of that, the association with the quality of the cigars in a cabinet, cabinet selection, kind of stuck to cabinet boxes, which really aren't called cabinet boxes. They're called SLBs, slide lid boxes. So the whole thing is really just it's kind of like playing telephone, and where down the line, the whole thing just gets all mixed up. Funny enough, if you think I'm full of shit, and you're saying to yourself, those are cabinets and the cigars are better, open up a box of Monte Cristo 2. What does it say under the lid? Box of 25 Monte Cristo 2, box of 10 Monte Cristo. What does it say under the lid? Cabinet selection. Monte Cristo started using the term once it caught on as meaning superior quality cigars. So you open up a dress box of 25 Monte Cristo 2 and you see cabinet selection, it kind of blows away the whole concept of a slide lid box being a cabinet and containing cabinet selection cigars. The whole thing became an advertising ploy. In this day and age, the way Habanos are run, I sincerely doubt that cabinet cigars, a cabinet of 50, or even, say, that's a funny thing, they have a dress box of 25 Bolivar Bellicoso Finos, or a slide lid box, SLB, cabinet box of 25. Both 25. Both the same fucking price. So you're telling me for the same amount of cigars and the same price, they have one roller making the dress box and another superior roller making a better batch of cigars and putting it in the slide lid box? Bullshit. Bullshit. They're not better. But they are better in terms of aging. And the reason is, it does exactly what I just was talking about people shouldn't do in terms of long-term aging. It keeps more cigars bunched together and safe from the outside elements. A slide lid box, a dress box of cigars has 2 layers like this, you know, and it doesn't seal as efficiently. A cabinet box of the same cigars puts them into a round bundle, keeping more cigars at the core and protecting them from the elements. It takes longer for the oils to work their way through, but the oils have, the cigars are all touching each other. So the cigars have more access to each other as oils, what they call mingle or marry, or create balance through the cigars, through the blend. You know, when cigars are very young, you may pick one from a box and it's great, and another one is okay, and the other one. After 5 to 10 years, the cigars level out and start all becoming very similar in flavor because all of the oils mingled. When you roll a cigar, and you have your Ligero and Velado and all that Seiko, you think that all the oils from each individual tobacco and the wrapper are all going to mix together that quickly? No, it takes years and years and years. But eventually, the oils from the wrapper mix with the oils from the filler, and the oils from the filler mix with the oils from the and it all and the cigar becomes fantastic. And that's what aging is all about. Or, well, partially all about, which is another misnomer. So, we will talk about that in our aging episode, but that is, my friend, the story behind cabinet boxes and the association with cabinet selection being superior quality cigars. Not so much right away, but even though the name is just an advertising ploy that has caught on because of what we just talked about, history in the past, even as such, I think that in terms of aging cigars, cabinet boxes are better, and the bigger the cabinet box, the better. So I would say if you want to age some incredible Partagas shorts, they'll age. It'll take a while because stronger cigars take longer and cabinet boxes take longer. And if you get a cabinet of 50 Partagas shorts and tuck those babies away for 10 years, you'll have some amazing short smokes. But oh, is it hard to tuck away Partagas shorts for 10 years. Man, peppery now. Wow, is it hot out? I'm sweating my balls off. Well, that about wraps it up. I have more comments, sure, but we're going to have more episodes, so let's save them. This episode is fucking long enough. I'm sure you all agree. Our last third is beautiful. This thing is really wet and slobbered on now. As far as a nub goes, I'm not sure I'll be able to keep it lit, but I wish I could. Every puff has so much flavor. Oh. You know what's funny? It has that tingly feeling on the tip of the tongue, just like you get from those Petit Lanceros. Some of that Nicaraguan tobacco does that, you know? Very good, man. So, I think we're about done. Did I have anything else to say before we do our last hurrah? So that's it. Cabinet boxes. Okay. So, before we go, one last thing, and I want to read this because, well, let's just read it. Oh, an email from a friend, Jack, fellow viewer, who received a box of Bolivar Royal Coronas from his uncle, and we were talking back and forth about it, and he says, so let's see what Jack has to say. I couldn't resist and had to open the Bolivar Royal Coronas I got from my girlfriend's uncle on his trip to San Jose, Costa Rica. Looks like I have some more crap for your pet hamster, Squeaker. Haha, you've been watching the old Faker Finds. Goddamn scumbags. I've attached some pictures. Here's my assessment. The wrapper was really thin and delicate. I opened 4 cigars and none of the binders matched. The filler had large hard stems like dried leaves in the fall. From one cigar, a bunch of dark black and brown flaky stuff fell out when I opened the filler. The box was spot on, though. The embossing looked a little weak on the front. The warranty had a black light shield. The cedar insert had the crescent notch. There was no wax paper, though. The bands were very well embossed, and strangely enough, the box was dated September 12, and the rice paper insert was the new one they released that year. Oh, the Habanos SA thing. So I'm thinking this was a real box with fake cigars. Well, wow, man. Well, some of the points you made right there make me worry. Some of them I'm like, eh. Well, for instance, all the binders weren't the same color. Right? They don't match binder color, you know. They use the same tobacco, so they should be kind of similar. You know, I wouldn't say if one is really light brown, the other one's dark brown, it would be kind of weird. But, you know, I mean, I don't know exactly what you're talking about. But anyway, what we have is something special. So, after some more conversation and getting this email and a few chats, we decided it's time for another Fake or Fine. It's been a good long time since we haven't done a single one actually since we've been back doing the reviews. And I think it would be really good to touch on this as more people are watching now, to get people to understand just how bad counterfeiting has gotten. It's also something that will, you know, our negative comment from the guy who obviously knows fucking nothing, talking about, please, counterfeit cigars. But, you know, this guy, man, I wouldn't be surprised if he's somebody from one of those fake sites trying to make me look bad. Well, he failed miserably. I wish he knew, if he was from a site, which one he was from, because he's an asshole. But anyway, if anybody has any doubts about anything I said during that little tirade, this will certainly shut him the fuck up. And you guys out there need to see this, because this is the kind of thing I'm talking about that you need to be really fucking careful of. Alright? This is not just some crappy fucking, you know, thrown together bullshit boxes. This is a high quality fake, and we're going to examine it on our very next Fake or Fine and talk about fake cigars and what to look for once again. Because I think, you know, even though, look, we did Fake or Fine in the past, and then when I came back and started doing reviews, I opened up with a anti-counterfeit crash course to put together everything we knew from Fake or Fine, plus to add on stuff from the years we were away, adding on all the changes that happened in 2013 up to 2014. There's always a lot of changes going on. This will help us know what we have to be on guard for. And, you know, trust me, for beginners out there, it might be a little scary. It really might be. Kind of makes me think about that guy who sent the email, you know, saying, man, if I was listening to your show, I'd be more scared before I started. Hey, man, you know, the truth is the truth. It's not always easy to determine a counterfeit from a real cigar. It's not always easy. You need some expertise sometimes. Well, I'm going to share that with you when we get back. Anyway, that's it for now. Let's wrap up with our final third. This is about as far as I can go, unfortunately, but fortunately, I'm very satisfied. It's just too wet to keep smoking right now, so I'm going to put her right here, very hot. And let's review our final third. As I was stating before, our final third was fucking phenomenal. When I first started smoking it, I said, wow, this thing still has a lot of flavor to give, all the way through. This thing just kept pumping out flavor over and over, every puff, and what was most amazing was the filler itself never lost flavor. So many cigars, by the time I get to this point, and even before, the filler starts to lose flavor because I'm always that's why I couldn't even smoke the nub. This thing is soaked. I've been drooling on it. You know? You end up sapping all the filler has to give. And then flavor starts dying down. This thing, not for a second. Really unbelievable. Unbelievable cigar. I gotta tell you, if you like long cigars, Churchill-sized cigars, double Coronas, stuff like that, or even if you just want some longer cigars that are really good for aging to hang on to for a long time, get a fucking box of these. If you're a Habanos fan, the Partagas Lusitanias right now are on fucking fire. Again, these are from 2013, March 2013 was it? I forgot the fucking box date. Well, you'll see it at the beginning of the video. I'm kind of a little woozy here right now, but they're on fire. Unbelievable. Awesome. Now, Finest Cuban Cigars has them. They're out of stock of a lot of stuff right now because, well, people are realizing what a great fucking operation they are. But they're working on that, no problems. However, they do still have some of these. If I was you, telling you, just like I said about the Partagas Black, and I said it was great, people ran out, got it, came back, Joe, you were right, Joe, you were right, Joe, you were right, got one guy, smoked a whole thing, I'm ordering 3 more jars are on the way. You know, come on, listen to me. Get these fucking things. This was one of the best longer format Cuban cigars I've smoked, period. Especially regarding its age. Only a few months over a year old and fucking ready to smoke. Unbelievable. Go get them. So, let's wrap it up. I think, well, as far as our last third and final review, I think I already just said it. Anyway, the last third, I really didn't say anything about the flavor. Flavor-wise, just kept coming. It got very beefy at the end. Almost even more flavor than the middle. I mean, it's just like fucking... It had to, because my palate has been so saturated with flavor throughout the cigar that it has to pick up for my palate to keep sensing it. So this thing was just crafted right. Some pepper at the end, but not too much. A lot of floral notes, but you know, really great aroma. Some of that ripe fruit kind of notes. Just great. Beefy, salty, great Cuban tobacco. Unfucking believable. So that's it. Let's wrap it up. Give it a final rating. And there we have our Partagas Lusitanias Prominentes, a double Corona. Unfucking believable. I still cannot believe that this cigar is only a year and change old. Let's run down our scoring sheet. Appearance, 1. Unbelievably unbelievable. I wish I could give it more than a 1. I mean, but that's the way it is. Unbelievable. Burn was a 0.75 and draw was a 0.75, but I don't blame it on the construction. I think the cigar was superbly constructed. Really, I think the cigar was over-humidified just by a bit, probably from the heat, me leaving it, who knows. Could be a million different reasons, but it did seem a little damp. Either way, it was still unbelievably enjoyable. Pre-draw flavor, 1, phenomenal. Overall flavor, 1.75. Can't get much better. Leaving that quarter off for, you know, the whole aroma, a 1. Balance, perfectly balanced. Smooth, mellow in the beginning, picks up strength, and at the end, right now, I'm feeling great. I mean, there's no need for any more than what I got. Excellent balance, flavor-wise, strength-wise. Complexity, a 1. Unbelievable complexity. Unbelievable range of flavors here. And I think with age, this is a type of cigar that'll get a perfect 2 on overall flavor. You know, wow, that doesn't look too pretty. My ash pile's a little screwed up. The end was just so wet from me slobbering on it. I had to relight it a whole bunch of times, and ashes got all over the place. But by that point, I didn't even care. I already knew this cigar is just like fucking phenomenal. It is only after a while you get to the point where it's just like, okay, I don't need another puff to let me know how great this fucking cigar is. So like I said, get them while you can. Get them while they're hot. These are on fire right now. I'm surprised they weren't on the top 25 list, but hey, then again, we had enough comments about that today. And that's it. As always, I hope you enjoyed the show. We will be hosting more reviews soon. Aging episode, Habanos news episode, and a Faker Fine comeback. First Faker Fine in over a year. So do come back for that. Light them if you got them. Life is short. Keep on smoking.
Say goodnight, Max.